Hey, it's Brennan Giannetti.
And I'm Devin O'Haron.
And hi, this is what we look like if you're watching us.
I'm so uncomfortable. I'm not used to this.
Oh, by the way, you're listening to Music You're Missing.
Season 3.
That is right. We are actually really very, I know we say it all the time, but I'm so stoked to be back because we have put in so much freaking work for this season, and it is finally under wraps. Our biggest change, I guess, for you guys is, hi, we are now on YouTube. I don't know if you are going to interact with this video. If you do, I would love to know, if you didn't know what we looked like previously, if this is what you
expected.
thought. Because I love, like, when I was younger, I used to Google like radio personalities that I knew and just be like, yeah, that's not what I thought you looked like.
I don't know.
I feel like
my voice, there's not much imagination to give.
I don't know. And I don't know. I feel like, Devin, it makes sense. I don't know. I feel like for me, because I have an absolute crazy view of myself and I will never realize that I'm a person, I can't imagine, like, my voice, like, I don't know. I think my voice sounds different on the podcast than it does in my head.
It sounds different in person, too.
What?
I don't know. Like when we listen back to like edits and stuff, I'm like, that just like Brendan doesn't sound like he does in person.
I definitely have a radio voice too from my days.
Oh my God, you're so cool. Okay, whatever. But back on track. We're starting season 3. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. Go check us out on both so you can finally see what we look like. And we have some amazing artists coming up for you.
For real. They are some of our favorites that we reached out to. So it is really cool to bring you guys artists that we love.
And that we've been working hard to get for a really long time. Yeah,
for sure. I think we're finally at a place, and I love being able to share this with you guys as well. Like, we're finally at a place where, like, I don't have to worry if artists are going to say no.
And it's just nice because, like, people reach out to us and I'm like,
yes,
bro, I've been listening to your music for months, of course. Like,
and it's also like, thank you. You just saved me an email that I had to send. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But as always, if you have any recommendations for artists you would like to get on the show, you can shoot us a DM on Instagram at Music You're Missing Podcast.
Who do we have up this week?
Yes. So enough of all that.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's a better word than I was going to say. We have, for our very first artist of season 3,
drumroll, please,
Cami Petyn.
Get me off of this ride. I don't know where it goes. So repeating a scene in a dream of me falling. Get me off of this ride. I wanna go home.
The queen herself. Some of you might know her from YouTube.
Because your girl has 500,000+ subscribers on YouTube. She is a vlogger turned singer.
Well, when you hear that first, you're like, you don't know what to expect. Because there's a lot of people who have tried to convert and it just hasn't worked out and the careers haven't taken off. But this is not the case with Cami.
No, this is like, you won't know what to expect when you see this music video or when you hear her music because it is like so uniquely awesome.
I'm just excited to meet her. Well, not meet her, I guess it's virtually, but just to talk to her and like see or like hear kind of more about that transition.
Anyhow, before we get her on the line, her brand new track, Tired, is streaming atop the Music You're Missing playlist now.
Can't feel my knuckles anymore. When will I finally learn my lesson? When all the glass is on the floor.
Let's get her on the line. We're joined by Cami Petyn. How's it going, Cami?
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hey, so you are originally from San Diego, yes or no?
Yes.
So
Yes,
we did
correct.
our research
We did,
right.
okay. But it's from like a smaller neighborhood in San Diego?
Yeah, I grew up in a town called Encinitas, which is like a real tiny beach town. Everyone wears flip-flops and does yoga. So
I literally know exactly where that is. My family all lives in Ocean Beach. So
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm not too far.
yeah, not at all.
I mean, that must have shaped you into like the creative that you are today.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I didn't realize like how slow of a town it was until I moved to LA, of course. And I was like, oh my God. But I really appreciate that I had that just, more of a slow mentality before I got into like the hustle and bustle because I can like tap back into it.
We're from Boston, and like growing up, I didn't live directly in the city, but I experienced a lot of the city. And I remember I had family out in Florida, in like near the Daytona Beach area. Whenever I would visit them, and like I would go to a business, they'd be like, "Oh no, we're closed. We're at the beach." And I'm like, "What? We don't have like beach time. Like we're very regimented, but other areas are just like beach and leisure are their first priority." Truly can't relate. Wish I could.
Like this is every time I tell someone who's not from California this, they're like, "What the actual fuck?" But in high school, I had surf PE. So instead of taking regular PE, we met at the beach at 6 a.m. and he was just like, "All right, go surf for 2 hours."
No way.
That's priority is surfing, and then
So does everyone just know how to surf then? Like, or because like I walked the mile. Like, were there people that walked the surf?
So yeah, that was me. I like growing up here, almost everyone surfs, and I was like, I'm going to be a beach surf girl. That's going to be me. That's what I was born to be. But turns out I'm so bad at surfing and the ocean terrifies me. So it didn't work. At some point, I was just like, hey, can I not surf and just walk up and down at the beach?
That is so cool. And now you're out in LA, correct?
Yeah, I'm visiting I've been staying with my parents for a little bit because, just crazy COVID. But I'm about to move back to LA this weekend, actually.
So what encouraged the move from San Diego to LA?
I'm just making myself look like a weenie so far, but like, it was the elections last year and, just 2020 was just like really crazy, and living through 2020 made me very paranoid living in LA. And I was like, it's going to be election. Something crazy is going to happen. Like, I don't know. So I got really scared and moved back to my parents. And I was like, I'm saving a lot of money. So I stayed here a couple months. And now I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
It's okay. We can all relate. That's 100%. For sure.
Do you have any like special travel spots that you like to head to, especially being on the West Coast?
I haven't done too much travel in the US actually, but Seattle used to be like my favorite city to go to. And like, I'm a massive Nirvana fan. So like, there's so much just like memorabilia there. I don't think that's the right word, but regardless. So yeah, I really like Seattle and like the redwoods up in NorCal. Yeah, I love traveling. I mean, rip to traveling now, but honestly, I just want concerts.
In Texas, I think there was a 55,000 person attended sports game. I forget what sport it was, but it was sold out.
How?
And that is why we still have COVID. Yeah. Thank you, Texas.
How is that fair?
I don't even understand. And that's the thing is like, even if like music you could never even post a concert because one, it's just bad press, but also it's so not safe.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Even when they did try to make them safe, like the Chainsmoker concert, when like shit just hit the fan and like people just mosh pitted, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that. It was like COVID safe, and I was like, that doesn't really look that way.
That's like one way that the world has probably changed like forever in terms of COVID. Like we'll probably start seeing more like drive-in shows and things like that. Cami, I'm wondering, is there anything that has changed like forever because of COVID that you're kind of like, okay, like we should have been doing this all along?
Okay, so I'm like a major introvert. So like when we started like quote unquote quarantining, I was like, nothing has changed in my life. So I think that will forever, like, I don't know, I feel like socializing, which is like a horrible thing that it has like distance itself, but also like as an introvert, I'm like, I kind of like the fact that people are learning to be alone. And like,
definitely,
I feel like it has caused a shift in like socializing, or made it more like okay to stay home and say no,
Definitely. And even just like hanging out with yourself is a thing that people are now aware that they can do. Because obviously, you've been yourself since you were born, but you kind of forget that you can like be your friend too.
Totally. Yeah. COVID, quarantine, 2020, all sucks, but it does have like a sprinkle of like, okay, fine.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think it's funny you said you're an extrovert because you've been...
Introvert.
Sorry, that's what I meant. An introvert because you've been sharing so much of, your life on YouTube for years now.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering because I think I even feel the same way. Like I've been podcasting and radio, but I'm definitely, I keep to myself a lot. I'm wondering why you chose to like broadcast yourself.
I think about this all the time because like you put a camera in front of me or put me like on a stage and I'm like, it's motherfucking go time. Like, hell yeah. But then you ask me to like have a dinner with two people and I'm having a full blown meltdown.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it. But I also think because I'm an introvert and I've grown up being like quite a loner, I guess, I found like YouTube and was like, wow, I can talk to people without having to talk to people. Like it, and it just became my comfort zone. and I was able to like actually express myself in a way that didn't give me extreme anxiety, you know? So, which is ironic. Again, I don't really fully understand it, but that's why I chose to do it, because it was super therapeutic to me, because I wouldn't really talk to many people and just like keep to myself. So it was my outlet. Still is, but yeah.
I mean, I totally understand. I feel like it's not necessarily a performance. Like, you're allowed to be yourself to the crazy extremes, the things that make you you, and you don't have to worry about like that judgment of people watching you, because they watch you in the aftermath, and it's like whatever, it's already out there, and I'm confident with like the final edit or whatever. It's just funny how like YouTube and content can have that, because like you said, it doesn't make sense, but it does.
And I always think about it, I'm like, if someone doesn't want to watch my video or hear me talk, they can just click off. But like, if someone's face to face to me and they don't like me, I'm like, I probably have to stay with them for a couple more hours. And like,
That's true. It's so stressful, and I feel like all your followers, they're like your friends at this point. It's nice because I feel like you both know each other, even though you like might not have met all 500,000 of them in person or whatever the number is, but it's like they do know you and you know them.
I genuinely feel like I genuinely feel like they're my friends and family. Like I hate the word even fans, because I'm like, it doesn't really feel that way, because they know everything more about me than like people in my personal life do. It's just so bizarre, but I'm super thankful for it.
I mean, you've done a lot of funny things on your YouTube channel, such as like eating what Beyonce ate in a day, or Ariana Grande, or I mean, and then to the extent of like you're very open about like your struggles and whatnot. If someone's like, hey, what type of content do you make? Like, what would you say?
Oh my God, I hate when people ask me that. I'm like, I always just say like lifestyle stuff, because then they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like,
whatever.
I eat like Beyonce. Like, I don't really want to answer it. But now like my content has changed to like more music based and stuff. So I just say I'm about music. But back in the day, like I used to make like crazy vegan concoctions. So people would be like, show me your YouTube. And I'd be like, please no.
I saw a TikTok about this recently, and it's like, I will put myself out there for strangers. I will do anything for a stranger. But if someone in my life wants to see my content, I'm like, no.
Yeah, right. It's so ridiculous. Like, if back before I started music and was like just primarily a YouTuber, if anyone asked me, like if I met them when I was out, they asked me, what do? I would always say video editor. And like, I wouldn't let anyone find out, because I'm like, I don't want you to open my YouTube in front of me and see a thumbnail of me like with this crazy, it's bizarre.
Oh my God, when they Google you, it must be like, what? I thought she was just a video editor. What is this?
I know. I'm like, yeah. So I made a giant gummy bear last week, whatever.
So, I mean, like you said, you're kind of making that transition, or not kind of, I mean, you've made that transition to now, you're pursuing music for real, and not just like
for real.
A cover artist. Like, you have some very legit tracks in production.
Thank you.
I know you kind of started, I think 2018, to start like training for music. What was it that made you say, it is time for me to focus on music now? It's
so strange, because I started music on a whim. Like, I've wanted to do it my whole life, but then when I was 22, I got out of an ugly breakup and was like, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be a whole new bitch. Like, I'm gonna follow my dreams and just like be the best me. And like the first thing that came to mind was like, I should finally pursue this dream that I've been too scared of my whole life. So I booked a vocal lesson just on a whim and was like, if I hate it, I'll never go back. But after that lesson, for some reason, like I fell so deeply in love with the art, even though I was so bad. That's why it like doesn't make sense to me, because on that day I decided like, this is what I'm going to do career wise. And I like started dedicating like all my time and money to it as much as I could. That's why like when I think about it, it doesn't really make sense, because I was so stubborn in it. And I didn't have a single person believing me in the beginning. Like I had to I barely believed in myself, because I like really had to learn a lot. But yeah, as I progressed more, things started falling into place. I started making music and I realized like, oh shit, like this could actually be a thing. And once I put out my first song and just realized like I can actually do this and people actually like it, I realized like there's literally nothing I'm going to put my money and time into elsewise. But
like your YouTube friends, were they really supportive in the music career or switching, or were they like kind of blindsided when you're like, this is my new song?
Yeah, they were super supportive. I mean, I had so many people like unfollowing and being like, where's the vegan content? Rightfully so. I mean, but so it was a slow transition of people that stuck around, that believed in me and like stuff.
When you transition to music, you really did it. You were like trained, and then the stuff that you're putting out is like top notch. It's not like amateur.
Thank
and
you.
especially with, your newest release, Tired. Everything about it is so artistic, and it really seems like you're a seasoned vet in the music industry.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No.
Like I said, like from the first day I had like a psychotic drive to make this happen. So yeah, it was balls to the wall, baby.
Get me off of this ride. I wanna go back home. Get me off of this ride. I don't know where it goes. Oh, repeating a scene in a dream of me falling. Get me off of this ride. I wanna go home.
So I wrote Tired at the beginning of quarantine when, like, I don't know about you guys, but I was on my phone so much. My, like, when app the phone tells you like how many hours you're on your
Yeah.
phone. I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. Like 11 hours a day. I'm not even. I don't know how. Anyways, being on social media for that long a day really had like a detrimental impact on like my self-esteem, and just like, of course, going through quarantine and just life and anything. And I just went through this period of being like extremely self-conscious, and every day I was like picking myself apart and like panicking about the future and my career and everything that I'm just like doing. And I just fell into this spiral of just being super insecure until one day I realized like I was just so exhausted of it. It was like a daily routine of feeling this way. And I just like opened up my lyrics book and was like, I'm so tired of feeling so much. And I was like, oh shit, that could turn into a song. And like once I opened myself up to like allowing myself to feel all this like frustration and trying to let it go, the song kind of just like poured out of me, which doesn't always happen with lyrics, but this one, like the first verse and pre-chorus and like a potential chorus just like came out in like 15-minute sitting. So yeah, it was kind of my moment of time of deciding like I am done feeling this way and feeling sorry for myself. I'm going to flip a switch and try to, step it up, be better. Because I do think like being self-conscious obviously is not a decision, but confidence starts with a decision, I think. And that's what this song really feels like to me.
Wow, I love that.
That was a beautiful way of putting it.
Oh, thanks, guys.
I really like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think,
Cool.
when I heard this track, I was like, oh man, like this is actually what I'm going through right now. And it was,
Oh shit.
when COVID hit, I was like, okay, like obviously travesty or whatever, tragedy, but I'm enjoying this lack of responsibility. And then eventually I was like, okay, I need some responsibility back. And then I got it back and I'm like, okay, I actually don't need this anymore. And it's like, I'm just tired. Like, will I ever win or will I always just be tired? Like, where is that middle ground? And like you said, like you really have to, it obviously it's not always a choice. There are, things that actually limit you, like chemical imbalances and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, there are some times where it is a choice and you do have the choice to do something to make you happy.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It's almost like self-sabotage when you are glued to social media and you are feeling like crap. At least for myself, I almost like don't want to do the things that make me feel better.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But so I have to make myself go meditate, which almost instantly helps. I love reading. Reading is like a part of my daily routine. It's one of my favorite things. Also, I have a cat. I don't know if you probably see him back there. Actually, he's up there, and I just showed you my dirty closet, unfortunately. But I love just like chilling with my cat. He's my best friend. And going on walks and like getting myself to work out helps a lot too.
Incorporating reading is something that I really want to do, and I've tried so many times. And like, I think I read this one book called Atomic Habits lately. I know,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a really good read because you're reading, but it's also kind of goes back to like that meditation where it could be your meditation for the day. Like if you read it,
Yeah.
and then you want to like take some time for yourself.
Yeah, I've heard that book is really good. It's been on my list for a while.
Definitely check it out. I listen to it as like an audiobook, and like if I'm like,
Nice.
as I'm getting ready, I'll play it. I'm like, this is awesome. This is like the motivation I need.
Yeah, it's a great way to start the day.
Some
For sure.
inspiration.
Sorry, I kind of derailed the conversation from Tired. I would love to
No
continue
worries at all.
talking about it, specifically the music video.
Yes.
The imagery in that is awesome. Like the black and
Thank
white
you.
contrast. I can just tell like you were the visionary behind it.
Oh, thank you. I love that you could tell that.
Oh, for sure. What made you like say like this is the color scheme and we need the chains, we need all of this?
Fun fact, before I dropped out of school, I was actually going to school for cinematography, and my dream was to work on music video sets, and I love the fact that now I get to live both my dreams. So that being said, I'm super hands-on with my music videos. And like normally I listen to my song over and over until like an image forms in my head. And then my poor cinematographer, I send him like 7 pages of like a treatment, and I was like, I want this and this and this, and he's like, okay, well, you're still independent and have a small budget. Feeling insecure always feels like being chained up to me, and I wanted to like represent like those thoughts as these like weird evil minions. So I just had this image of like these minions chaining me up and pulling me apart, and also being on a stage like it's like this show, because that's what it feels like. It's so silly when you're insecure, because if you just like take a step away from it, it's like, wait, what the hell is this? What is going on?
Yeah.
I really love the color scheme of like white, black, and blue, and just minimalistic things. I think it's a little bit alien-esque, but also dark. I have a lot of like, I love dark things, clearly. The whole concept kind of came into my head. My cinematographer came up with the underwater scene. Like I said, I've done yoga and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to be totally fine. I can hold my breath underwater. He's like, no, you need to train for it. And I was like, I meditate. I'll be fine. Turns out I was not fine. And I like panicked after 10 seconds underwater. So it took so many shots to get them. But we made it happen. Yep.
We have the numbers. It has how many views under a week?
I think 43,000. I believe.
Yeah.
That is awesome. People are responding to it so well. How are you feeling now that it's finally out in the world? Because I know you had, like you said, you've written it a few months back now, and now it's finally out.
I feel like I was waiting like so long for it to finally come out. So this was the biggest music video set that I worked on. I sold merch beforehand specifically to fund it, and like every single dollar went to funding the music video, which allowed us to have like a higher production. So I think people were a bit like taken back, like, whoa, you've really stepped it up with the music video. So I was just so happy to see people say that. And just that being said, I think people reacted really well, more than I could even like anticipate. I'm still blown away because I started music at a older age. Like I still get so shocked. Like you were saying, you're doing the damn thing. Every day I drive, I'm just like, what? I'm doing the damn thing. I don't know if that will ever go away. I'm going to be like on the stage and be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super thankful for people reacting really positively.
And you recorded Tired in May of 2020, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so it's almost, why did you decide to release it almost a year after you recorded it?
Honestly, I'm impatient. If I can release my songs right away after I record them, I would. But like I had to like shoot the music video, get the money for it, and then it was the holidays. So it's like a really boring reason of like I just had to wait logistically.
Yeah, but honestly, like I love, hearing that, because that's not something like fans get to know. Is like, like people, we're people too. Like we actually just like, had Christmas that we had to do, so that's why.
And I feel like a lot of people, they're like, oh, you woke up, recorded a song, and then it's released the next day. Like it's a process, you guys.
Right?
Like it doesn't all like.
Yeah, 100%.
You're like a living example of if you really want something, like you can go after it. And I know that you have this TikTok series of giving advice to people who want to get into the music industry. What are some like your top tier advices? Advices?
What's your advice, I guess?
Yeah, I guess what's your advice? I feel like there should be a word for like advices. Anyways, what is like some advice you'd give to someone who might want to start from scratch?
I don't know. For myself, my number one pillar when it comes to music is authenticity, because I feel like it's so easy to try to be like the biggest thing right now, or like this artist and that artist. And I feel like that really causes you to lose your true artistry, and like focusing on yourself and your authenticity. And also like helped me a lot with my insecurities of being like, I'm not good enough, and being like, wait a minute, I'm me. Like maybe I can't sing like freaking Ariana Grande, but I can sing like Cami motherfucking Petyn. So I think that's really important to start with when getting into the music industry. And also there's so much learning material online. Like when I first started, I got a second job to start paying for like the music and stuff. And I would get to my job like 3 hours early just so I can like try to learn music production and like music theory and just like everything. I think it's really important to try to educate yourself as much as you can. Also have fun with it.
I think that's so true. There's the internet now is like it never was before. There's so many resources, and even with like TikTok,
there's people like you that are like, I saw your like step by step how you write all your music and all your like, it's just crazy how the little things that you don't expect you can learn from.
I started that series on TikTok because I spent so many hours trying to learn these like complex topics of like music theory and like lyrics and just everything on my own. And I realized like there's really simple ways of learning these things, but like the way they're taught are just, I don't know. It was definitely a challenge to teach myself a lot of this stuff.
For sure, I 100% agree.
yeah.
Especially like studying music business, the things that were learned, it's like, or that were taught rather, it's taught from this such like elitist vocabulary, and I'm like, I can't comprehend. Like neither can anyone in this class. Like we need it, spoken how people speak, and like I could go on about like education, and I think that's awesome that you're really providing a service to not just your fans, because TikTok, you can reach anyone, so to anyone really.
A lot of the people who are teaching this stuff are no longer in the business, and things are ever changing, and like it just
so fast.
Like, yeah, you can do something completely different than the way it was done last year.
Yeah, that's so true.
So you just like it's while there's like these people who are like they look great on paper, they might not necessarily know the best.
Yeah, that makes me think of like one of the things that has helped me mostly as an artist is something I need to always remind myself is there's technically no rules when it comes to music. And I feel like with education, there's putting so many rules and ceilings, which are there for a reason, but also it can really restrict you as an artist. So that's always really important for me to remember.
Especially something so abstract as music. Like, it shouldn't...
Seriously.
Like, the fact that, like, there's people who have to, like, take tests on, like... Just, like, it blows my mind. Because it's so unique and abstract. Like I said, it just... I don't know.
I love that you said
Absolutely.
I literally was driving today, and I was, like, in my head, and that is, like... the conversation with myself ended by saying, there are no rules, so you need to, like, stop. Because there aren't. And I mean, if your head's in the right space, and you pretty much know a little bit what you're doing, like, you're doing okay. Like, you gotta stop just, like, beating yourself up, because there are no rules. And if you try your best, that's all that matters. Truly. I know it's cliche, but it's truly.
Seriously, yeah, you're your own worst enemy. Like when it comes to chasing your dreams, like most people don't get there just because they're too scared to start. That's why I always say, like, chase your dreams even if they scare the shit out of you.
The fact that you just did that, like the fact that your musical story is just like so wild, I love it. Like I just feel like I've never heard anything who's like anything like
because
that.
Another thing is, like, I'm sure you could have reached out to someone and been like, I want to record a song. I don't know how to sing. Can you produce it for me? But like to actually really kind of learn the craft and understand what you're actually getting yourself into is so important. And that's clearly why you're seeing success.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's definitely been worth it.
Get me off of this ride. I wanna go home.
Wow.
Queen.
Absolute queen.
I loved her. She was so freaking cool.
Brendan, I feel like you and her just vibed, especially at the end when you're talking about like yoga and meditation and your book that you're reading, the Atomic
Habits. Cami, if you're listening, girl, I hope you bought that, or I hope you got, what is it? What's the app I...
Kindle?
No.
Amazon?
Guys,
books?
why don't I remember this? Audible. No, honestly, hey guys, so if you are looking for a new podcast, this is what I've been looking for, a new podcast to listen to. And what I actually realized is I wanted an audiobook, because I didn't want to listen to a new podcast. I actually just wanted to like listen to something from start to end, like over a multiple of days. This isn't even an ad, but audiobooks, man. Awesome.
I live for them. That's how I fall asleep. The insomnia just... disappears when I turn on an audiobook.
I fall asleep every damn night to white sound. White noise.
You're the worst type of person.
No, it's actually like scientifically proven to like be good for the brain. So.
Okay, this is getting too off topic. Back to Cami.
Cami.
I love her. Her authenticity from that interview was exactly what I wanted. After like listening to her music and watching her music videos and her YouTube videos and TikToks, I feel like that is the exact person that I was getting from those videos, and it's so nice when they translate
Definitely
onto the interviews.
And I think that's so important whenever you are, because of course she is a singer, but she also is like a
brand,
a personality, a brand. And I think that's so important when you are making these like YouTube videos and TikTok content, is she's very herself in these videos.
She's relatable. There's some people that you are like, that's definitely not your real personality. And like, they're just making up shit. Like, she was not like that at all.
Definitely. I'm so excited to see like kind of how her music career takes off even more once COVID kind of fucking leaves the music industry. And I can only imagine like her on tour would be so fire. So go check her out on Instagram, TikTok at Cami.Petyn. You can also send her a text message.
Ooh.
And let me get my phone for this one. 310-359-0756. Send her a text message. Tell her that we sent you.
Yeah, just say, I just listened to Music You're Missing. Honestly, 10 out of 10 podcasts. I love your song Tired even more.
And on that note, we say goodbye. But first, make sure you're following us on TikTok and Instagram and
Spotify. You have to go listen to our playlist, Music You're Missing.
Yeah, just search Music You're Missing, and you'll find it. That's all.
Everything pops up.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.